Magandang araw sa inyo mga ka-learners! Welcome to another lesson. Life is not limited to what we see from land. There's life in the forest, across the sand dunes, and even beneath the waves. Today, we will learn about aquatic and man-made ecosystems, our sources of fish and seafood that we cook and serve to our loved ones. Fish and other underwater organisms have adapted to not just survive but thrive in an environment without air, something we and a lot of other animals need. The planet we live in is full of life. All kinds of organisms can be found in our little blue dot. These organisms, however, would not be able to survive if they aren't in the right ecosystem. By the end of this lesson, you will find out what is an ecosystem, describe the nature and characteristics of an ecosystem, find out what makes up an ecosystem, and learn how these components are related to one another. Let's start by defining what an ecosystem is. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms interacting with non-living components of their environment in a particular unit of space. An ecosystem usually has the following characteristics. 1. Living things and their physical environment. An ecosystem is made out of both living and non-living things, like the plants, birds, and insects in your local park or the plants and animals in your backyard. Living components in an ecosystem are called biotic, and non-living components are called abiotic. 2. Interrelationships. These biotic and abiotic components cannot just exist in a certain area for us to call it an ecosystem. They have to interact. Relationships within an ecosystem can either be beneficial or harmful. Lizards and frogs keep insects in your backyard in check, but having too many of them might lead to shortage of food. Not watering your garden when it isn't raining as much will result in your plants dying, which also means any animals or insects that rely on these plants will not be seen in your garden. 3. A particular unit of space. Keep in mind that an ecosystem exists in a particular space. Different kinds of ecosystem can be found in different places. Each ecosystem houses a specific group of organisms that interact with their physical environment in their own unique way. In general, there are two kinds of ecosystems: terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial ecosystems are those that can be found on land. Aquatic ecosystems are those that can be found in water. These ecosystems are further divided into various types, each occupied by organisms designed to thrive in the conditions they provide. Deserts, for instance, contain plants and animals that can survive with little water and extremely dry conditions, like cacti and camels. Tropical rainforests, on the other hand, have an abundance of rainfall and rich soil, resulting in a bigger variety of plants and animals living in them. In the following lessons, we will delve deeper into an ecosystem prominent to our country, aquatic ecosystems. Before we talk about aquatic ecosystems, let's look back at what we have learned so far. An ecosystem is a complex of living things, their physical environment, and their interrelationship in a particular unit of space. There are generally two kinds of ecosystems: terrestrial ecosystems and aquatic ecosystems. That's it for Lesson 1, mga ka-learners. It's a short dip into a deeper module about one of our country's natural resources, our aquatic ecosystems. Before you move on to Lesson 2, stick around for a short quiz to see how much you learned from this lesson. You can also try out the quizzes in your online LMS account. See you on our next lesson!